All praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God always comes first. We're going to talk about Free Palestine quite a lot in this stream. It's mostly Free Palestine, but we'll also talk about Restore the Snyderverse. Let's get into it, man. I ain't going to play around. Let's get it.
Basically, the location, if you look at these papers, Government of Palestine, 9th May 1946. This one is crazy. This is a book with names of villages in Palestine that no longer exist. And this is like registers that they had. Look at these letters. These letters have been sent from New York, right? 1929. And look what it's addressed to. Jerusalem, Palestine. Check out this stamp. This shows what Israel was before and what was Palestine, this part. And now it's literally like a little circle here. A telegram, Palestine Posts. If you want to visit the shop, this is the shop, Saraya Art. When you come to Jerusalem, you can visit. And this is basically the location. If you, so guys, please don't forget to share this video, raise awareness with this history and all these. Look at these.
I just paid off my student loan.
Okay. So this brother, he shared this information with me, Jake Shields. Really good guy. Hold on a second. Let me just make this happen here. Something noise going on here. I need to just shut this thing down. Okay. So I have a bunch of things to do today. This stream is not going to be very long, but for anybody telling you that Palestine is not a nation, it's not a country, it doesn't exist, it never existed, and all that bullshit, just let them know, yes, Palestine did exist. In fact, Palestine is in the Bible and so on. It was known as Philistine, the land of the Philistines, okay? Palestine, Philistine, Palestina, Palestini, all the same thing, okay? It's just, that's a part of the world. It was occupied by many different peoples, and I got a lot of information on that. But I just wanted to first give you this piece of information. Let's keep it moving. All right, so we came to understand. Woo, okay. There's a lot going on here. But suffice it to say that there's a lot of information that people don't know. Funny how that happens. Most Asians are not aware of this subversion. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. How did China become a communist country in the first place? Well, actually, Israel Epstein, Frank Cohen, and Sol Alder helped Mao Zedong to develop this communism in which they murdered millions of people. Yes, these Israeli Jews with the supposed Star of David sign. I'm going to go into all of that too, and how this is related to a satanic, very satanic following. I don't know how much Zionists know how much the false information and everything leads back to Satan, but we'll go into that. But suffice it to say, Revelation talked about this. They who say they are Jews but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. This is what we're talking about. We're going to get into that, though. Don't worry. You should also talk about what Americans did to your citizens. A brutal sex trade built for American soldiers. It's a long buried part of South Korean history. Women compelled by force, trickery, or desperation into prostitution with complicity from their leaders. So in South Korea, we'll get to the main point, which we'll get to in a minute. But first of all, let's just keep this going. Now, once again, this guy's going to talk about Jewish people, but Jewish Israeli people, more or less. He's really talking about Zionist Jews. There are Zionists who are other faiths, of course. They're Christian Zionists, evangelicals are Zionists. But the Zionist Jews that we're about to talk about, you guys always talked about the Illuminati. I mean, not the original Illuminati, but the secondary Illuminati. And you guys never really put it together. I'm going to start putting some stuff together. By the way, shout out to Lord Koj. Lord Koj actually shared a video on YouTube about this and how it's related. It's a satanic thing, and it's like a cabal. It's more than just a cult. It's a cabal. We'll go into that. But first, I want you guys to see this. I'm not being anti-Semitic. This is about Zionist Jews that head up the population, and we got so much to say about this, but let's just get into it.
The chair in charge of the CDC that was controlling and telling our government to shut down small businesses and what they recommend for the mandates of the vaccines and Pfizer and all. At the time when COVID was being enacted, I'm going to read off the staff of who was in charge of this in CDC. The director of the CDC was Rochelle Walensky, dual citizenship with Israel. She's a Jew. Deputy director of the CDC, Dan Schwalchik, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC chief of staff, Sherry Berger, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC chief medical officer, Mitchell Wolf, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC director of the Washington office. This is pertinent to the topic. We're talking about COVID, right? Yeah. This is pertinent to COVID. So I love you, Jennifer. Yeah, please. So director of the CDC of the Washington office, Jeff Resnick, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID czar, Jeff Zaitz, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID senior advisor, Andy Slavitt, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Assistant of Health Secretary for Human Services for our country, the Assistant of Health Secretary, Rachel Levine, transgender, dual citizenship with Israel, yes, Jew.
Can I ask that you hold off, Christopher?
Ma'am, I'm almost done.
Mr. Wood, the chair has ruled that your comments are out of order. She's asked you to stop. The chair has...
He said Jew. There's nothing wrong with Jew. It's not derogatory.
Exactly. Okay, keep on going. Head of Pfizer vaccines, Albert Bourla, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Pfizer chief scientist, Michael Dost, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Moderna chief scientist, Paul Zaks, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. BlackRock, everyone know BlackRock? BlackRock CEO, Larry Fink, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. I said we're willing to sacrifice our ego, our reputation, and our lives. Yes, ma'am, and I love you, and I appreciate your patience. BlackRock president, Rob Kapsal, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. The CDC chief medical officer of Johnson & Johnson, Joanne Waldstreicher, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Chief medical officer of Merck, Michael Rosenthal, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Head advisor of the World Economic Forum, Yuval Harari, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. And that's what we're talking about. That's not about who's in charge.
Christopher, you need to stop.
Who's in control of the media or the banks? Go on. God bless them. Thank you for your patience.
Christopher, you need to stop.
Who's in control? In charge?
Now, he's not being anti-Semitic. He's saying that these Jewish Zionists have key positions in all the areas and sectors of governance in the United States of America, CDC particularly. And that's interesting because when this COVID thing started to happen, these were the people giving directives under Fauci. And Fauci has been pardoned of crimes. Hopefully this administration can still get him on crimes against humanity, because he's done a lot of crimes against me. He said a lot of false information, deceived the public. And these Israeli Zionists, dual citizens with Israel, Israeli Zionists, I wouldn't be surprised. He's not saying this as a coincidence, but he's showing that they're behind this COVID thing that was going on. So that's a very important point. And you see these Israeli Jewish people in key positions of government. We see them in key positions of media. We see them in key positions of contracts that they get, defense contracts. They're everywhere. And remember, these people are not even 0.2% of the population of the United States of America. So how are these people getting into these key positions? You have to ask yourself these questions. There's an answer I will suggest to you, but we'll keep it going. In banking sector, it's dominated by Jews and Israeli Jews. Okay. Arthur Kwan Lee says, I'm not trying to be funny, but a provable 6 million Koreans were killed during the Korean War because of Jewish colonization inside the U.S. government. Yet you don't hear us bitch about evidence-based mass extermination with those actual numbers in recent history. These Jews. And he's particularly pointing to the wife of, I think, the then Korean. I'll tell you exactly who he was. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find them. Well, anyway, she was the wife of a prominent Korean person, and she was a Jew. They said she was Catholic, but she has Jewish genealogy. She comes from parents of Jews, and it's not just Jews. These are Jews who are Zionist Jews. They're not just Jews. Okay. As I said before, I have Jewish lineage, so that's not, you know. I want to show you some more stuff. Yeah, I just did that. Okay, so I want to show you a little bit more stuff because it gets very interesting very fast. Okay. This is a resistance fighter, which her name was Layla Khalid. I guess this Irish journalist met her in Lebanon. So she was part of the resistance in Lebanon. Elon Musk proposes FAFO as the enforcement arm of DOJ, or DOJ, the Federal Agency for Financial Oversight. They're trying to get people to write up, you know, basic stuff on their accounting and stuff like that. They don't teach you in history class just how cringy and embarrassing every fascist movement has always been. This is John Berthel, who will be in The Odyssey, which is Christopher Nolan's story that he's going to tell from the great mythical Odysseys. They're liberals. The same people that lied about 40 beheaded babies also wrote your history books on World War II. This is true. Pastor Luck. Okay, so this is where it begins right here. So a guy named Pastor Luck. They say he's the agent of Israel, but that's not the thing that really got me. I want to show you guys a little something here, if I can find it. So Stu Peters, who's a Christian, he exposed Pastor Luck. Pastor Greg Luck wears a necklace of the satanic star of Rephan, mentioned by Stephen in Acts 7:43. It's also mentioned in the Old Testament. If you ask him to biblically justify his wearing of the symbol, he won't be able to do so because no biblical justification exists. Now, this is very important because there's a video underneath here somewhere. I have to find it. I can't seem to find it right now. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Okay, check this out.
Where does that symbol come from?
It's never written explicitly in the Bible
Come on,
itself.
motherfucker.
Is it in? Is there a passage in the Bible about that, or the Star of David? Where does that symbol come from?
It's never written explicitly in the Bible itself.
Is it in the Talmud? Is there a passage in the Bible about that, or no?
No.
Okay. So you're not really sure exactly where that comes from?
No. You got me.
Because nobody knows, huh?
I don't know. I'm not, yeah.
Because I know it's called the Star of David.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with David?
No, I don't think so. There must be somewhere. I do not remember exactly what the association was.
Okay. I believe that what they call the Star of David is actually the Star of Remphan. Because when you study the Bible, you'll see that when they worshipped other gods, the Bible talks about them carrying the banner of the star of their god Remphan.
You rejected the God of the Bible. You took up for yourself the star, that's the six-point star, of your God, called Remphan or Kiyun. All these were names for Moloch. But the God they worship, the great architect, is Moloch, the star god.
Yeah, it's actually the Star of Moloch, which is what they also call the Great Architect or the Star God, which is what all these Satanist type people all worship. That's whose star it is. And interestingly, it's also the star used in Freemasonry, which they say is basically has the same beliefs as the Jews, which is that everyone on earth basically needs to be killed except for them. At the high levels. They don't teach, see, that's the thing. They don't, you can go to a Freemason lodge, you'll find a bunch of dirty cops there, and probably some lawyers and some people who want to like make money, and they have no idea what it's all about. But at the very top, it's the same. There appears to be a lot of people who call themselves Jews now who are actually from Khazaria, which is an area basically where the Ukraine is, where a lot of Jews are now moving. The Laz people who are from Khazaria also use the same symbol, the six-pointed star. So the Khazarian people use it, and the Jews use it, and it's apparently the Star of Moloch.
Let me read it.
I'm not done. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more. Hold on a second. Coming to you right now. Okay. Okay, I think I moved it already. You moved it already? I think so, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, hold on a second. We're going to get it. I'm going to get what I'm looking for in a second. Bear with me. Probably looked the wrong way. I looked the wrong way. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. There you are. Okay. The Star of Remphan, also known as the Star of Moloch or Molech, is described in Amos 5:26 and Acts 7:43. The Greek god Saturn, as the Greeks. It's Now when I, Solomon, had heard this, I entered the temple of God and prayed with all my soul night and day, that the demon might be delivered into my hands, and that I might gain authority over him. And it came about through my prayer that the grace was given unto me from the Lord of the Sabbath by Michael, his archangel. Take, O Solomon, the king, son of David, the gift which the Lord has given you. Okay. So there's the seal of God, which is a 5-point star. And then you have the Star of Remphan. And you see it on your police cars. The police use it. They supposed to be protection. You see it in the Stars and Stripes. Those stars are that kind of star. So I keep getting people who tell me that that is the Star of David and that they have always used that as the Star of David, but do not have a biblical scripture to back that up. Nowhere in the Bible and nowhere in the Torah does it say that that star is the Star of David. Remphan is another name for El Elyon, also known as the Saturn, the god, or the father of Yahweh, Jupiter, Zeus, Odin, and many other warlike gods who favor lightning. And we go on to see the hexagram or 6-pointed star is the symbol of the ancient Rempha, also known as Chiu and also known as Moloch, which is another representation of Nimrod, husband of Semiramis, queen of Babylon. So you wonder why the Israelis disposed of the ancient Hebrew and took on Babylonian symbols as the modern Hebrew. This is the reason. This symbol is not Jewish. The Rothschilds, who are papal knights of the Malta, put it on the flag of Israel despite heavy opposition from the Jewish people. So this talisman of Saturn. So this is demonic, and as we all know, the Rothschilds are demonic. And just in case you don't know that, that they follow Satan, I will show you. I will show you. I will show you. Okay, so if you look right here, you will see this is in French. Historia Edifante de Curiosité Rothschild 1. I'm speaking bullshit. I don't even know how to speak French. Right there, is par Satan. Okay, all right. So this story is more legend than fact, but not only is there nothing in the surviving historic record to suggest that Rothschild was the first in London to know of Waterloo, but we can say with some confidence that another man had that distinction. As for Nathan Rothschild making a killing, which is likely he made profits that week, any gains can only have been modest by comparison with the fortune made by others. There's no question of trickery. How such an ill-founded tale managed to gain currency and respectability is a curiosity in its own right, but there's no escaping the influence of anti-Semitism. As Victor III Lord Rothschild, 1910 to 1990, found when he investigated these matters, the decisive event was the publication in Paris in 1846 of a pamphlet entitled Historia Edifante de Circus de Rothschild ter Roy de Huys. Another author signed himself simply as whose authors signed themselves simply as Satan. An attack on James de Rothschild, 1792 to 1868, is a ruthless capitalist enemy of the French people. It's sold across Europe by... So this was an article that was done and basically saying it was written by Satan, and it gives the historical accounts of the Rothschilds, Rothschild 1, and, the title page from the 1846 attack on the Rothschilds. So this is Nathan Mayer Rothschild so they talk about the story of it, basically. You also have Pedophilia and Empire, Satan, Sodomy, and the Deep State, Book 3, The Rothschilds, Illuminati Bloodline, and Ties to More British Scandals, Joachim Hagiopian. Basically, the Rothschilds, and you will see the dragons on the gates of the Rothschilds, city of London. You'll see not only do they have dragons, they also have sort of demonic gargoyles. And all of this, here you go. There it is. These are the gargoyles here, some of them. And you have a lot. Okay. Why the Rothschilds? Well, the Rothschilds, this guy got assassinated, Phil Snyder. And basically, he was exposing that these so-called aliens, this alien agenda is covered up, that heads of nations and very important people, they speak to these aliens, they've learned technology from them, and in exchange for the technology, they've given these aliens, free reign to slaughter and kill as many humans as possible in exchange for the technology. And basically these aliens, they like to use the adrenal glands of human beings. For some reason, they harvest them for the adrenal glands. And if you do know, Israel right now is also harvesting some of the bodies of the Palestinians, and they're butchering them like cattle. And they harvest their body for organs. And I guess some of the organs will be given to these aliens. These aliens are really demons, but we call them demons, but really they come from another portion of the universal galaxy, or whatever you want to call it. And these are like the fallen angels or demons. We've heard about it in Genesis as well. They're not just human beings we're talking about when we talk about sons of God, but we're also talking about people from other life forms from other planets, okay, or other places. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys the connection between these Zionists and what we call the Illuminati, what we call the secret shadow world order that they're trying to move towards. So it's not surprising that these so-called Jewish people are supposedly Ashkenazi Jews and so on, even though we don't know because they don't test their bloodline. They don't have any DNA testing to see where they actually are. So some of these people are not even Jewish, And there's a long story about Judea and Iudema, people from Iudema, and that's a whole other story. We're claiming they're Jews. Now, what makes them, I strangely believe that some of these people are not Jewish, is the way how they treated the survivors of the Holocaust. They treated them like, they called them soap, Jewish soap, which meant, there was this saying that, the Germans had liquefied the Jewish prisoners and made soap out of them. And even though these survived, they considered them that. There's a philosophy that a Jew that cannot defend himself deserves to die. So these Zionist Jews, they're very aggressive, they're very racist, and they also are unsympathetic to the Jews that survived the Holocaust. They use the Holocaust for leverage, but they don't care about the people of the Holocaust. And obviously, they don't even care about their own people, the way how they use the Hannibal Directive to kill off all survivors or to kill off any captives who are captive. And the reason is because when the captives see the Palestinian experience, they're transformed. They go back to Israel and they expose that, Hamas and Palestinians, Hezbollah, and all these other people, they're not really interested in taking over Israel. They're interested in defending their territory, in defending their lands, and trying to get back the lands that were taken from them. So that's basically what they're really about. And so, knowing that Israel was founded upon terrorism and stuff like that, You know, it's really crazy. You know. David Smart says, I keep telling y'all, evangelicals will be the Antichrist's greatest followers and will return to slavery under Mosaic Law 2.0 and abandon true Christianity. You know, the lamb-like beast, I used to think it was America. It's not America. It's Israel, right? We always thought, you know, these poor people, they went back to their land. They want to go back to Zion, blah, blah. No. These people run America, actually. They're in key positions in America, and right now AIPAC has taken over most of the people in Congress. So everybody's singing the same tune. They got their people in power right now. You know, I was listening to, okay, well, I'll show you some more stuff. But first, MAGA says he's just one of many Zionist shills posing as a Christian preacher, spreading Schofield Bible propaganda and brainwashing people. And this is a MAGA guy. Shout out to him. But most Americans actually don't support this. They're not pro-Israel anymore. Here's the synagogue of Satan thing again. Harold Rosenthal, 1976. Most Jews do not admit it, but our God is Lucifer, and we are his chosen people. And you see him with the Star of David thing, which is not the Star of David, but the Star of Moloch. 1 Thessalonians 2:15 says, For ye, brethren, become followers of the churches of God, which are in Judea, which is in Christ Jesus, for ye have suffered things of your own countrymen, as they have of the Jews, who both killed the Lord Jesus Christ and his prophets and persecuted us, and they please not God and are contrary to all men, forbidding us to speak to the Gentiles that they may be saved, to fill up the sins away. The wrath has come upon them in the uttermost. So again, Buck Rogers, he's exposing this stuff. Of course, Jesus chased them out, the money changers and stuff. So we're dealing with a certain Sanhedrin. We're dealing with a Sanhedrin of godless people who worship Satan straight up. And these people have been around Israel for the longest while. Remember, they started to worship all kinds of false gods inside of the temple. And that's why God had to destroy them and let their nation go into captivity. Now they're looking to artificially build back the thing. And it's centered around them again, people called Jews. You know, the prophecy centered around them. And there are a lot of Jews who do not agree with what these Zionist Jews are doing, but the most powerful people with the most influence right now are these people. Okay, not just the Zionist Jews. You got Zionists elsewhere, but they're all in this cabal. They're really evil people. Okay, let me move on a little bit. So this Palestinian issue has led me to all kinds of things and all different kinds of roads. And I just want to share this information with you guys as well. Fuck, this is not where I want to go. You're going to have to pardon my French. For now and then I end up... yeah, I think... Hold on a second, people. I'm going to get it. Here we are. So, the other thing I wanted to show you guys... What the fuck am I forgot what I'm trying to do. What am I trying to do? What the fuck am I trying to do? Shit, I just actually forgot what I was going to do. What the fuck? That's crazy. Shit. The info. Yeah. Okay. I remember now. Okay. All right. Cool. Coming to it. No, it's not in Israel. No, it's not in Israel. I think it's in screenshots. Yeah. It's in screenshots. There you go. Okay. So I want to show you guys something, and this is something you can Google anytime you want. Back in 1994, when the global population was a mere 5.5 billion, a team of researchers from Stanford University in California calculated the ideal size of a species that would be between 1.5 and 2 billion people. So the world is overpopulated currently. How many people are on Earth right now? It's 8.2 billion people. There are 8.2 billion human beings on the planet this year, 2024. Well, it's 2025 now, but the projection for 2050 is 9.7 billion people. There was a time it was 7 billion people. Okay. What are the measures taken to control the growth of a population? Population control may use one or the following practices, although there are other methods as well. And some of these are very controversial. But look at what's popular today. Contraception. I want you to use, the, fuck it is called. condom. They're trying to get you to use condoms and stuff. There's abstinence. Well, nobody ain't abstaining these days. Medical abortion, which is like throwing children into the fire of Moloch. Immigration, that is chasing people from the place, which is what Donald Trump is doing right now with immigrants and stuff. Decreasing immigration, trying to regulate so that people don't come into your country. Sterilization, so that people cannot have children. And there's they're using a lot of products which cause people's fertility to go down, men's fertility and their sperm count to go down. And euthanasia, which is killing people. All right. Now, we see euthanasia being applied in Israel. We see immigration being applied in Israel. We know sterilization happened to the Ethiopian Jews in Israel. They were sterilizing them and people didn't even know. So you can see that this is what the thrust is. To get from 8 million to 2 million or 1.5 million, you got to kill off a whole set of people. That's mainly what you have to do. All right. So to forecast the changes in the size of population, you need to focus on 4 main factors: fertility, which is how quickly people will reproduce; mortality rates, if you can increase that or decrease the age of mortality, good; the initial age profile of the population, if it's a young population or it's a whole population. The younger it is, the more likely they are to grow. So these are very important things. And of course, in Palestine, the population is pretty young. So that can help to cause them to breed more and to grow. Hence the mowing of the lawn stuff that was going on there. All right, so let me see if I can get to the last bit of stuff I want to do here. Deciphering DC says, that's why fake Jews are so crafty. They come from both the left and the right. Before Luck went Israel crazy, he seemed based, had a big rant about how Democrats need to leave his church. I could go on and on and on. The thing to remember is the person reading this is that this is the pastor guy. Their loyalty isn't to Jesus Christ. They don't pledge allegiance to the United States of America either. Nope. Okay, let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it moving. We have so much stuff to cover. IMA, keep the hope, even when it gets dark, especially when it gets dark. It's okay to be sad. A lot of life involves suffering. Trying to escape it is like trying to escape life itself. There's beauty everywhere you look. The more you look for something, the more it appears. You've got this now and for years to come. Life is often sad. It makes good times brighter. Keep the hope. So this is EMA, and she's singing.
People who shared it, and then Joe Rogan followed me, which bless his soul, love that dude.
Yeah, Nick is talking about he's talking about the MCU. He says, I can't take the MCU serious, bro. You're laying under rubble, gasping for air. A pipe has punctured your lung due to structural collapse. And the last thing you hear is one of the Avengers making a joke about Mondays.
There is a reason images like these have existed throughout all of human history, and it's the same reason a specific demographic has been expelled from every culture.
A lot of it will be super childish. Now you know why the screenings were disastrous. Superman movie will reportedly feature a lot of humor. James Gunn movie. We expected that. All right, let's look at this.
The same people sacrificing. There is a reason images like these have existed throughout all of human history, and it's the same reason a specific demographic has been expelled from every culture and society on repeat over 1,000 times on end. The same people who created usury, pornography, child trafficking, sexual blackmailing, the military-industrial complex, which is just a money laundering pipeline to delude the masses to fund genocidal levels of entitlement, are the same people sacrificing and torturing children for adrenalized adrenochrome. Because Judaism is simply a satanic religion that feels totally justified to sacrifice the lives of innocent men, women, and children for their amazing display of self-proclaimed entitlement. This is a holy war, and those sitting on the sidelines not engaging or contesting with this fact are ultimately complicit in the normalization of sin and handing the keys to the gates of paradise to Lucifer along with the innocence of their progeny. These anti-Christian Babylonians created feminism, communism, the LGBTQ coalition, slave-based fiat banking, abortion, and the ideology of supremacy itself, with the separation of us being mere Gentiles and them being God's chosen. Just look at how they create their own words. You're called a racist for admonishing every other race, but an anti-Semite for them. You're called a supremacist for proclamations of any people, but they call themselves Zionists.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
And it's the same big club worshiping the black evil Saturn, sacrificing to Baal and Moloch behind closed doors through these demented art performances. And now the Dark Ages make total sense, and you understand the stories of vampires drinking the blood of the innocent and child sacrificing. His name is Lucifer, and he has chosen the Jews. There are all the fucking Christian images like these.
And it's not just any Jews, it's the Zionist Jews. So now you guys know, and it's finally there. Everybody's now, this is the truth. This is it from beginning to end. Okay? That's the truth. Okay, this is a little data here from Ian Malcolm. And it's some good stuff. Jews are 2% of the USA and only 0.2% of the world. 66% of Biden's cabinet is Israeli Jews. 75% of Ivy League presidents, Israeli Jews. 90% of Hollywood film studio CEOs, Israeli Jews. And we're not just talking about Jews that pledge their allegiance to Israel, Zionists. 83% of the world's richest tech CEOs, 55% of American billionaires, 63% of top donors of 2020 presidential elections. By the way, in terms of billionaires and oligarchs, some are anti-Zionist Jews. Okay, just saying. 90% of all presidential child spouses, 40% of accounts Elon engages on an X, 31% of White House staffers, 75% of NBA team owners, 100% of executive leadership at BlackRock, military execs at State Street and Vanguard, disproportionately ran the Federal Reserve, disproportionately CEOs at porn companies, disproportionately CEOs at ad agencies, influence 85+% of all advertising. Almost mathematically impossibly are presidents of Ukraine, El Salvador, Panama, Argentina, Mexico, and Venezuela. However, Mexico, she's anti-Zionist Jew. And they've been kicked out of 109 countries a combined 1,000 times. These are simple facts. And I just want to say, Big Six Media Corporation senior execs, they're overrepresented. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't work hard to get their plan going, but I'm saying it's a demonic plan. And the reason why we have LGBTQ, we have homosexuality on the rise, we have promiscuity, they promote real alternate style living, pedophilia is now promoted. All of these really demonic things is because these are the people in power. You know, you guys talked about the Illuminati and these people who go together to plan the world's events and stuff. These are the people, okay? These are the people. So now you're getting to isolate. Now you're beginning to make some sense of the situation. And it's all there. And a lot of people are now talking about it. We're not being anti-Semitic because it's not all Jews are like this. But at the same time, these are facts. And these Jews are Zionist Jews that we're talking about. And these Zionist Jews are a cabal. And they're not the only ones, but they are mainly the people who interact with these demons. And they are actual demons. Check this out. Remember Chelsea Clinton's tweet to the Church of Satan? The never-ending excitement here is never ending. It's been so long. Happy New Year. She said that to the Church of Satan. Just so you guys know, Hillary and Bill, they're not righteous at all. All right. 840,000 children go missing in the United States. Say all but 10% are returned. That's 84,000 a year gone. Why don't we ever hear about it? It should be the number one thing on every news channel, but it is not. Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing. Of course, we know in terms of human trafficking, the most trafficked thing in the world right now is children. It's a bigger profitable business than even the drug trade or any other trade, arms trade. It's the biggest thing in the world. And that's scary. But then again, offering up these children to Molech, eating their body parts, harvesting their organs, sexually taking advantage of them. All of these things are going on, and it's very important. And, you know, we're starting to get pieces of the puzzle. You know, there was this movie that came out recently, you know, from Angels Network. And there's a number of things people are trying to clamp down on stuff. Look at this. Look at this. Senator Babbitt says the world is controlled by satanic pedophiles. Yeah, that's not a joke. Okay. But why is Fauci not in prison? She responded to Elon Musk, who was saying this. Seems showing an ID to vote. No. Showing a vaccine passport just to leave your house. Yes. And he was saying it seems inconsistent. Yeah, I mean, shouldn't have a vaccine. Anyway, it is what it is. Why is Fauci not in prison? Which is a very good question. So this Palestine has brought up a lot of things, opened people's eyes a lot of ways. A friend of mine whom I recently spent a very enjoyable evening with unfriended me and blocked me on Facebook today because I supported the Palestinian people. I posted a polite message that countered the one she posted and filled with mistruths into the deaths of the people. I just want to say also that the world has woken up to this and it's not going to go back to sleep. That's not going to happen. Also, it has opened a Pandora's box because we started to go down this rabbit hole, realizing that banking and the banking sector, I never liked banks. Banking and the banking sector is actually demonic. It's usury. I remember talking to a Hebrew Israelite about this, and he was kind of letting me know, hey, that's not written in the Bible, what these people are doing. And the world's in a lot of bondage, and it's a real thing. And the demonic people are real. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I know I have to get out of here. I know we got a whole bunch of other stuff I got to share. But first, just listen to this guy.
On social media, it was not a part of my education growing up at all. I went to a Jewish day school from kindergarten to fourth grade, and I went to Hebrew school through my bar mitzvah. These, traditional places where Zionism is instilled at a very young age to people. But as you mentioned in the documentary, it's a part of every level of Jewish education. I always say, if I had gone to my rabbi in my Jewish day school and said, I don't believe in God, I don't know what I'm doing with that, they would have an answer for that. They would be able to handle that. They would be able to, work with me on that and, continue my education even with my doubts. If I had gone to my rabbi and said, I don't think what Israel is doing is right, my parents would have been called in. It would have been a huge crisis. It was a very left-wing community, but this was a major exception. And it was not uncommon to hear any criticism of Israel be called anti-Semitic. I was taught at an extremely young age about the horrors of the Holocaust. That was never a question in my Jewish upbringing. It was just how horrible that was and how much its legacy affects that. But it wasn't really until this past year, which was embarrassing, that I heard the Palestinian perspective. I had not seen hospitals be blown up. I had not seen newborn babies be bombed. Those are the kind of things that were shocking to me. And it wasn't until I learned independently and took the active effort to unlearn, which is not a common necessarily Jewish experience. It takes an active effort to learn how this has sort of always been a part of Israeli history. This kind of brutality has been a part of Israel's history from its very founding. And that was new information to me. The idea that this history has always been horrific. It's recent history. There's no people who are still alive who experienced this history. It wasn't really until I saw perspectives of Palestinians and saw visual evidence of what was happening that it really hit home that I can't stand for this anymore. I can't let this go. This has to be something I address publicly. If I went to school and I had someone who was Palestinian come in and tell their point of view, I would have a very different outlook on things at a much younger age, and having to force myself to unlearn a lot of things later on in my life. That's the only thing I see changing this from a Jewish perspective is education, awareness, and organization. The only way to really change this within the Jewish community is at a structural level. That's why getting in at the younger generation level and being able to at least begin to have this conversation is so crucial. Who knows what will happen in the next few years, but, in the long term, if we're going to have some justice for Palestinian people and some humanity and recognition of the existence of Palestinian people and their point of view, we're going to need to present this at every level of education that we possibly can.
Okay, now a couple of things here. One, Dr. Abu Sufia has not been released. They suspended prisoner exchanges because they were mad that an Israeli soldier, IDF soldier, kissed two Hamas soldiers. He got a certificate and all that. and he made it out alive. Now, I can understand why Israel does not like to see prisoner exchanges, because the prisoners are transformed after those experiences when they realize what the Palestinians have to go through, the trauma and stuff, and that the soldiers try to protect them and try to save their lives because they understand that the Hannibal Directive is a real thing, and Israel really tries to kill these people that survive. They don't give a damn about them, you know, and they still want to kill off some more. And the thing about it is, I guess these people going back into Israel and saying what they say very honestly, probably completely is the opposite of what Israel wants to, their propaganda machine wants to do. So I can understand them being very, very angry. And right now, seeing a IDF soldier kiss the heads of 2 Hamas soldiers, that's crazy, right? And it's crazy because they kept him alive. He's happy because he's actually going to return to his homeland alive. You know, it's not, that's not the norm usually. So I think Netanyahu doesn't like the psychological politics or whatever that's going on, the message that's going against what they have been trying to tell the world is going on. And there's so many lies. The Israelis lie so much. It's horrible, man. I just hope. I saw Gal Gadot post about freeing all the hostages. I don't know what she meant by that, but definitely she's pushing for the transaction to continue and for the hostages to be released. Israel's trying to dictate terms again for no reason at all, except that Hamas had a guy kiss the heads of but the guy is happy to be alive. That's why he's kissing them. It's like really isn't. It isn't that deep, ladies and gentlemen. You know, he will be more empathetic towards the Palestinians' condition and how Palestinian people move and operate. He could be an asset to Israel in terms of intel of how they treat hostages and stuff like that. Or it could be also somebody who turns out to, you know, have empathy for the Palestinians, and maybe he either goes back in the military or he operates outside of the military to try to assist the Palestinians. But it's very clear to me that these people have transformative experiences being in that situation. And I know Israel tries to get them to say certain narratives and stuff after they've told the honest truth, and then re-edit what they say. But quite frankly, this facade cannot be held up much longer. And even the people in Israel should be able to realize that this is all a sham. And they should try to remove the government that is there and remove the policies that are there. And they should reach out as Israelis to the Palestinians. They should break down all barriers. Now, I know the settlers are at the forefront, but the Israelis, they need to get more involved because they're the ones that can stop this. And they need to strongly fight against the settlers that are you know, going and taking Palestinian property. And they need to have the law enforce it on that. The settlers are not the majority, even though there's quite a sizable amount of them. And the Israelis in Israel, they need to stand up and force their governments. You know, they need to put pressure on Netanyahu and all these guys who, you know, he's in Syria, he's in Lebanon, he's taken almost all of Palestine. This is not acceptable. You know, Yemen needs to fight back. They need to fight back. This is not acceptable. So they need to stand up, and Gal needs to speak more on the issue. She cannot just be a passive bystander. She needs to stand up and speak, whether it's push more for the prisoner exchanges and for all the hostages to be free. She needs to yell it out loud because, as I said before, Israel tends to kill their own, and they don't have a problem doing it. Okay. Okay, there's some Restore the Snyderverse stuff. Jeff Johns is still a bitch. Stanley Cohen, this is again Free Palestine. As the offspring of Russian, Lithuanian, and Latvian Jews, I have been told I am a direct descendant of Moses and Aaron, tribe of Levi. I would rather lose my life among my cousins in Palestine than live it among the Zionists of Tel Aviv. Did you hear what he just said? I want to repeat that because this is crazy. Stanley Cohen said, I would rather lose my life among my cousins in Palestine. Just what I'm telling you, there are Jews in Palestine. Or people of Jewish lineage, at least. Okay, Heisenberg looks way more like Lex than whatever the new guy is. The NAACP attempted to rehabilitate Kamala Harris after she committed genocide. Shows how liberalism completely rotted the minds of many of our black adults. Africa, led by South Africa, has led the fight against the genocidal state of Israel, and the black liberals in America are trying to pump up the genocider. That's correct. Ben Affleck responds to Sad Affleck. Pretty cool shorts. Okay, this is a little something that's really cool. Without lies, Israel dies. This is true. These people are worshiping Satan. They're wicked, evil people. So I just want you to know that. Brad Coroner put out an article. I think I talked about that yesterday. So that's basically it for me for now. I'll talk to you guys more about it. David Icke, he says, apparently some people are saying that I have moved to the left because I say Trump and Musk are frauds. That's hilarious, but very instructive. I haven't moved anywhere. I'm still where I've always been, holding the power to account, whatever form it may take or whatever name is on the rosette. This is what happens when you fall for the left-right puppet show and don't see the one-party state. If you don't agree with the right, you're a liberal lefty. If you don't agree with the left, you're a Nazi. I don't agree with either much of the time because politics is a systematic diversion designed to make humanity give its power away to those who are shafting them in both camps. Naivety, the human disease. He's correct. This olive tree is older than our country, released Israel Captain Omar Shem Tov. Omar Shem Tov comes from Morocco. He says his parents come from Morocco. And he really, you can tell he's against the war. And he's really happy. He seems to have found some peace being there in Gaza, which is good for him. I just hope he makes the right choices. Israeli warplanes flew over Lebanon for Saeed Nasrallah's funeral. They're not supposed to be in Lebanon airspace, as far as I know. So what they were doing with fighter jets over the airspace, I made some suggestions. Use your drones, guard the borders of Lebanon, and crash the drones into planes or whatever you need to do. But if they fly their warjets over Lebanon, shoot them down. Don't let them enter Lebanon airspace without permission. This is why they're willy-nilly doing what they do in Palestine and in Syria and those places. They're just willy-nilly in control of the skies, and you guys need to push back on that. I remember this is really cool. Matrix. That's basically it for me. I don't really have much more to say, except Captain America, The New Frontier, or whatever it's called. I keep on saying the wrong thing. Brave New World. Captain America, Brave New World. It's flopping at the box office. I know Superman will flop. I want to see what the other CBMs will do. Again, Restore the Snyderverse is the way to go. I said that, there are consequences to things. So if they don't restore the Snyderverse, and I specifically say restore the Snyderverse, the DC is going to be non-existent very soon. The brand is going all the way down the toilet right now. And it's sad. It's sad, but it is what it is. Let me go to one more thing here before I leave. Okay, so I got a lot of views for this. I have 658 likes, 19.5 thousand views. I was asking if they could fly over Lebanon airspace just like that. A lot of people lie out here. That's the thing. The first shot of the Trinity was something special. While Gal Gadot said it felt odd standing in costumes first, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill and herself became their characters. People stood agog. Cites Henry Cavill. Some new members even cried. Even Zack Snyder was blown away. Oh my God, this is crazy. Seeing two of them was enough. But the Trinity, over 75 years, they'd never shared the screen until now. It's really history right there. Comic book history. So we saw this Trinity on the screen facing up against Doomsday, and that was quite an epic moment. I'll never forget it myself. Okay. This was to a question about the Flash. If you still want to see Ezra Miller as the Flash, if James Gunn agrees to restore the Snyderverse, I do. Yeah, me too. Once he's directed by Zack Snyder. Okay, it's the last one I'm gonna do. History repeats itself. You know, they're trying to use Zack Snyder to get Superman movie to do better, and it's citing, you know, the ad campaign they had, which, you know, got a lot of views. But the Flash in Super Bowl, it had the most views as well and the most likes, and the Flash flopped. So that doesn't mean anything. So that's what I got for you guys. I'm going to catch you guys later. I am Christ, I am Disciple. I hope you guys have a good day. Call to action. There's a couple things I want to just mention here. This is a little call to action, something here. Let me see if I can find it first. Yeah. So, in terms of products and services that you need to boycott, Newsweek, boycott. Oh, no. These are not services. My bad. These are just media companies. Newsweek. What is this? I do not know who Rez Plastica is, but Greg Soros. He has Israeli as well as Italian, I think, roots there. Oh, French. That's French. Warner Brothers Discovery. That is U.S. and Israeli ownership, I guess, which is very interesting. All right. I was going to tell you the products to boycott, but don't worry about it. We'll do that in another video. I'll catch you guys later. I am Christ, I am Disciple. Peace.